Millions and millions and millions of dollars up for grabs on DraftKings.com in the best ball streets. Today, we're going to draft to try to take down 2 million of that in the DraftKings Millie Maker, but I'm also going to talk about my favorite players, favorite draft strategies, and even some of my highest owned players as we head into hot best ball summer July. Training camp is on the way, so let's talk a little bit about the players I'm targeting, the strategies, and my highest owned players here at Spike Week. Let's do it. The daily GM to everybody. Happy Friday. I assume everybody celebrates, Fridays. We're all happy that it's Friday. It's hot as Hades, but it's the weekend. Super lame, incredibly lame thing that I am excited for this weekend is the Formula One movie is coming out this weekend, which my wife and I are going to go see tomorrow. So there's my you turn 37, you get up early, you draft best ball teams, and you go see movies about race cars over the weekend. That is my weekend plan. But today, what we're going to get into is a little bit of DraftKings. I knew Vadim would be going to see the F1 movie, our resident film head in the Spike Week Discord, which of course you can join for free at the link below. It is just $5 to join in all the premium channels, which you will get access to as a subscriber. But of course, if you are a Spike Week Premium subscriber, which gets you the Draft Hacker and Draft IQ, which we'll see in just a second, both of those rankings, strategy content, all that kind of stuff, it's just $40 a month. We're not upcharging you with come buy our best ball premium content and then come buy the tools and then come buy our DFS product and then come buy our sports betting product. No. $40 for absolutely everything, all sports, all rankings, tools, etc. So check that out in the description. Before the best ball and movies, the only thing missing is the devil's lettuce. We made the movies with a little devil's lettuce in you is pretty good. So it may not be missing. We'll see here in 24 hours, or I guess maybe 36 hours or something like that. The Panthers combo is hot and heavy in the Spike Week Discord already today. Thousands of messages being sent by 10 a.m. Eastern, with a lot of them having to do with the Carolina Panthers. So if that tells you anything about the level of sicko that is in the Spike Week Discord, A, and B, where we are in the NFL calendar, really needing some news, some camp reports, some practices. Even if we're overreacting to the training camp highlights, my God, it's better than talking about a lot of the things that we're talking about right now. I can pun intended, I can only get so blue in the face discussing Javonte and Jaden Blue and Miles Sanders, and is Bryce Young, was the stuff down the stretch real? How good was he? All this kind of stuff. Bring us the practices. Bring me the highlight clips on social media, please, at God. Before we hop into a couple of drafts here, I want to pull up my current DraftKings exposure. So I've drafted 84 teams over on DraftKings, 38 into the DK Millie. A good chunk of these are in progress slows. So, take some of this with a little bit of a grain of salt. But I figured this is the best way for me to, if I'm going to talk about my favorite players, it should probably be some of the guys that I have my heaviest exposure to on DraftKings. And I was checking this out before we got started here this morning, and this honestly pretty much stands up to exactly like what you would expect. One thing I do in best ball is I wouldn't say I spread out my exposure early on, because you'll see I'll go to the flip side of this with some 0% players and low owned players in a second. I do take what most people would call stands all throughout the draft. I'm really, really high on CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, Malik Neighbors, the elite tight ends, Trey McBride, Brock Bowers, right, AJ Brown, et cetera, et cetera. I'm really into a lot of those guys. Jalen Hurts. I take stands in the earlier rounds, but the cheaper the price, the heavier the stand most of the time. for me. So you see at the top of your list, probably anybody that has watched a Spike Week video all summer is very unsurprised. And you can also see where I have him ranked relative on the left-hand side relative to his ADP. This is our Draft IQ tool. You can see all this. Let's actually do so those are my raw top exposures. Let's look at those, and then we'll look at the draft board so we can kind of see how everything shakes out. All the players. See my exposure to all the players. I actually haven't looked at that this morning yet. But Jordan Mason, another, just another stand for me. I have him ranked a couple more than a round ahead of ADP, and you see that's generally the case here. You do get down to 26% Rashee Rice as whatever that is, my 9th highest owned player or so on DraftKings, and the price is getting closer to where I have him ranked. So a lot of that, as you can see here, your average ADP, my average ADP on Rashee is 29. So I got a lot of my Rashee in pretty good, and I'm pretty happy about that. I still think he's a target, as you see from the rank of 20. But I'm not going to be like going into drafts assuming that that Rashee Rice is like my number one priority. Vadim shouting out Jalen Royals. Yeah, Jalen Royals has been my priority as De'Ami Brown has moved up into, as you see here, about an ADP of 205, which I still think is absolutely egregious, as you see with my ranking here and my 37% exposure to De'Ami Brown. I don't know what we're doing here. We actually had it. We were before this show started, we were talking in the Spike Week Discord about everybody has their different flavors of later round guys. You're seeing a lot of my flavor of later round guys, and the idea of uncertainty versus upside versus like how thin is too thin of a late round bet. And we're sitting here with De'Ami Brown at pick 205 on DraftKings. You want to talk about a bet that is not thin, that definitely has upside, and is like completely locked, like not just locked into like an NFL roster spot, right? Like Jarquez Hunter is locked into an NFL roster spot. Is he going to beat out Blake Corum to be the backup? That's unclear. That's where I'm putting my chips. That's why I have so much Jarquez Hunter. That's why I have him ranked where I have him ranked. But that doesn't mean that's correct. It doesn't mean that's going to happen, right? Trey Harris, same thing. Is how good is Trey Harris going to be for the Chargers? Is it going to be QJ and Ladd and 2 wide receiver sets? Probably to start the year. There's uncertainty around Trey Harris, but I think the upside of that player in that offense is too high for me to worry about. But De'Ami Brown is the complete opposite. Like probably locked in 2 wide receiver sets, not just 3 wide receiver sets on a Jaguars offense that, if you watched last week's episode that I recorded with Kareem, Legendary Sickos, we ranked every team in terms of our favorite stacks in best ball this year. And I won't give away where the Jacksonville Jaguars were in case you have not watched yet. Go watch it. I thought it was a fun conversation, but quite high, I'll say, for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And De'Ami Brown might just be playing in 2 wide receiver sets with Liam Cohen. Travis Hunter, we don't know what the whole role is going to look like, right? BTJ is locked in. Brenton Strange is like fine, but Brenton Strange this ain't prime Travis Kelce. Like, there's a lot of opportunity here for De'Ami Brown, who really flashed last year. Some real upside, some real talent that we were waiting on since his rookie year after a fun stint at North Carolina with my boy Sam Howell, by the way. So I just can't really figure out what's going on, why De'Ami Brown isn't going like way, way higher. Like what? Like people like, I'm trying to think of, Michael Wilson, Adam Thielen, Wandale, Pop Douglas. Like what is so much better about all of these guys than De'Ami Brown? I can't really get it. I can't figure it out. We're going home to DraftKings. Pi says 555's yet ready for the slow analysis. That is coming very, very soon. I don't know if he wanted. I apologize in advance. I don't know if he wanted this out there, but our good friend B. Kurt Bernie on the Spike Week team. I want him to be a part of the 555 slow process because he's an integral part of what we do there. And I probably should have started it beforehand, but he's got a baby on the way coming probably any day. Bernie, I apologize if I'm outing you. on that. But I want to make sure Bernie's able to be involved, and he's probably not going to be sleeping a lot with a new baby here pretty soon. So that'll be coming. The last couple of years, we've done what Pi mentions, a slow draft, a series of slow draft videos. Usually, there's 20 rounds. We usually try to do about 2 rounds or so per video. So 8 to 10 small, 10 to 30 minute videos where we break down, we get on the clock, we have not made our selection, we hit record, and we flesh out who we want to take on a team with 3 or 4 of us. And so we'll get to that here pretty soon, but shout out Bernie for that. Jacksonville does seem determined to make him involved in their offense. Yeah, I agree. They're hyping him up. Like there's nothing not to. So my current plan right now is like, I don't really see a way in which Diami falls. So I'm just going to keep taking him until if I have to reach a little bit, like what's my average ADP on Diami? It's like, so I'm not getting him, my average ADP is not at 205. My average ADP is at 200. Oh no. Oh shucks. Average ADP 200. And this is going to come down because I'm going to keep taking him. But you see some of these other guys, right? Jalen Royal is my favorite rookie back there. I'm willing to bet on his talent. I think he's a really intriguing prospect. I'm willing to bet against Hollywood Brown. And I'm willing to bet on the Chiefs. So that one's probably pretty self-explanatory. The Jalen Royals draft capital was also totally reasonable. Just scrolling down a little bit more, you see some of these got, Trey Benson, Ferg, Likely, Javonte, Trey McBride, RJ Harvey, Neighbors, kind of some of the guys that you would probably expect. But I wanted to shout out some of these top couple of guys. And then let's flip the exposure to 0. And you can see, actually, let's go over here. Let's go. Where's my draft board? Let's go to the draft board so you can see that's in the milli. I want it to be. Let's do all. Go to all the DraftKings 2025 tournaments, and you can. I like this draft board view, which of course you can do for your opponents. You can see your opponents' draft boards as well. Obviously, it works a lot better for like once you punch in a player, you can see those combinations. But this is kind of what my exposure looks like. You can see I've been making it a point to get at least like a little bit overweight on all these elite quarterbacks. Where is Jaden Daniels? I don't think I've gotten there on Jaden Daniels yet. I haven't taken Jaden Daniels yet. So there's maybe something, but I'm trying to get a little bit overweight on Lamar and Josh Allen, despite the price. I know I'm going to be overweight on Jalen Hurts. So you see a whole bunch of Devontae, you see a bunch of AJ Brown, right? You see kind of my first, where I said I'm willing to take stands in the first round. I'm really Saquon. I'm pulling away from Saquon Bijan, the running backs. I am giving some to Gibbs, right? But I'm pulling away from all of these early running backs and a little bit of Amon-Ra to give it to all these superstar wide receivers. That's my general plan of attack. And of course, give some to Brock Bowers, give some to Trey McBride, et cetera, et cetera. I'm pulling away from, so I'm not, right? I'm going to be overweight Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm not going to have 0 HN. I'm not going to have 0. I think JT, I have a decent amount of, 10%. Like I'm going to live in those ranges, I think, for a lot of these earlier running backs, but I want to be taking from guys to give to this early wide receiver class this year in terms of not the NFL draft, our best ball drafts. It's just too good. CD, Puka, Neighbors, right? JJ, Chase, Nico, BTJ, Ladd, AJ Brown. There's just too many, and they're too good. So my plan is to get a little bit overweight those guys. As we scroll down a little bit, kind of to the middle of the board, you can see kind of some of where my exposure is going. A bunch of these guys are very much a priority. Frankly, so is Chris Godwin. Those rookie running backs. There was also a conversation in the Discord this morning about some of this running back range, whether the concerns for Joe Mixon, Ken Walker, Chuba Hubbard, Alvin Kamara. Where's Demont? Demont's on here somewhere. I think I'm overweight David Montgomery. But you get the point, right? Being cautious about some of the veterans in that range, but moving a lot of that over to those rookie wide receivers. Yes, an actual 0 on Derrick Henry. We are going to go ahead. Let's go ahead and enough looking at the portfolio. Let's hop on over to DraftKings and see if we can't put some of this to good use. We're popping in the Millie Maker. If I did not make that clear in the title, description, etc. Looks like we need 6. Yeah. Shout out Bernie. Hopefully I didn't give it away. Yahoo Football Podcast did top 10 wide receivers with Matt Harmon, Nate Tice, and Charles McDonald. What a 3 goats, by the way. Harmon, Tice, and Charles, just the absolute best. All 3 had AJ Brown in their top 4, and Nate Tice ranked AJ Brown over Jamar Chase. Got me so jazzed to draft more AJ Brown. AJ Brown is oh boy, I'm on the clock in a bunch of slows. AJ Brown is like the perfect example of I can so easily see the upside case. Like, it's so easy when everyone on there is not a single soul who has watched any football really, but watched AJ Brown play football and says like, yeah, I'm just not sure how good this guy is. Right. And then he's on the Super Bowl champion from last season. Hurts is a good player. He projects for a dominant target share because they only throw it to 3 guys, 2.5 guys. They throw it to him, Devontae, and Goddard sometimes. It's like every single box we want checked for an elite wide receiver in fantasy, AJ Brown checks. Talent, efficiency, awesome offense, target share, all of it. But the Eagles didn't pass enough, right? Last year, AJ Brown going at like pick 7 overall or something, and the Eagles just did not pass enough. Do I think it's possible, even likely, that the Eagles don't pass enough for AJ Brown to reach, the upper echelon of fantasy wide receiver? Of course. Of course. The Eagles want to run. They have Hurts. They have Saquon Barkley. They have a good defense. They have a good offensive line. Yes, they're going to run. But in these scenarios where they do run too much and don't pass enough, AJ Brown is fine. You're not mad AJ Brown is on your team in those scenarios. He still pops off for big games. Is the floor maybe sometimes a little lower than we would hope from a second round pick? Sure. Is he going to have big mega spike weeks still? Yep. And in the scenarios that they do throw a little more. Now, I'm not talking Cleveland Browns 600 and something pass attempts. I'm not talking Kansas City Chiefs, right? I'm not talking any of that. I'm just saying not throw it 350 times, right? I'm just saying don't be last in the NFL in pass attempts by a wide margin, which they have not been for the last several years. Last year is the outlier. And as much as we expect it to go again like last year, it just never fucking does, man. It never does. And so the case for AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts is so clear to me that I just don't see a way around being overweight those guys. The floor is cool. They're on my team. Like, they're not my absolute stone cold nuts, but I'm happy they're on my team. And the ceiling is, oh shit, like this guy is the best asset you could have got at his cost for both AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, and of course for Jalen Hurts. All right, about to be on the clock at pick 9. Pepper Tony says, society if AJ Brown got 150 targets in a season. Like, seriously, can you imagine? I'm gonna do Puka again because that's what I do. Puka, quite good. Puka is like the inverse. We know that the volume is coming, like assuming health. Puka is just going to get the rock. He just hadn't scored any touchdowns. To do what Puka did for the last 2 seasons, essentially be right there as one of the most efficient, best. I'm not saying he's the best in terms of like Vadim's list that he talked about before. I'm not saying he's one of the best wide receivers in football, but he is one of the most efficient and effective and productive wide receivers in the NFL. He's also very good. So we get more than 4 touchdowns in a season from Puka Nacua. Like, what if that happens? Right? What if he has the Terry McLaurin touchdown season? All right, I have 11% Bowers, which of course I love Bowers, but I have 11% Bowers with Puka, 11% Ladd with Puka, 33% AJ Brown with Puka. So I am going to do Brock Bowers here instead of, while waxing poetic about AJ Brown. Brock Bowers also, spoiler alert, pretty good second round pick in my opinion. So it is not besmirching AJ Brown just because I still like Brock Bowers. Get some other Kate Sizzle's getting the passing game without Hurts. I think that's fair. I would ask you to reconsider 4th, 5th round Jalen Hurts, I would ask you to reconsider. But you can also benefit from AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert for sure. See, Peppertoni saying Jalen Hurts is that free money. Pie is at 20%, not close enough. And Vadim says Puka was like 5th or 6th on those guys' top 10 lists. See? Black Muddy, what's the biggest difference you see in the ADP landscape on DraftKings versus the other sites? Let's just go to the player pool real quick. Sorry, I need to zoom in a little bit. If we look at the quarterbacks, so the elite quarterbacks go earlier. Very first difference, which is about to matter, to me here in the 3rd round. Allen, Lamar, Daniels, Burrow for sure is a major difference. Kind of the elite quarterback overall, the quarterbacks go earlier. So if you come in and you're like, I'll just, I'll push it at quarterback. This is the number one biggest lesson everyone learns very quickly on DraftKings. Like you come from underdog where maybe people play nice, or you come from drafters where people really play nice. We all kind of stay in our lanes. And you come over to DraftKings and you're thinking about setting up quarterbacks. Don't be afraid to reach a little bit. I'm not saying reach, right, 20 picks or something like that, depending, be cognizant of the fact that DraftKings drafters, by and large, don't give a fuck if you need that quarterback. They don't care if he doesn't make sense on their team. If they decide they want Joe Burrow at pick 46 without Jamar Chase or without T. Higgins, they're going to take him. If they decide they want Patrick Mahomes without any Chiefs, guess what, brother? Come on down, Patrick Mahomes at pick 65 on DraftKings. So being really cognizant of your quarterbacks because of exactly what you just asked here is probably the single biggest difference on DraftKings. There's other players that are different, right? But in general, it's somewhat close enough. We've talked a lot about like Luther Burden. I got to get more Luther Burden. I keep like, I know that he's a priority for me on DraftKings and with the price that we can get on him, but it's been awkward. I haven't been ending up clicking him as much as I've been hoping to because I've been drafting other guys at those prices, whatever. I'm making the fatal mistake that I really hate doing. Let's do JSN, 7% JSN, 6% JSN with Puka, and 0 JSN with Brock Bowers. So we'll clear up that little portfolio gap I got going on here. Yeah, while we are waiting on the turn here, Billy says, remember, everyone liked the video. It would be much appreciated. It is very helpful in the old YouTube algorithm for the rest of today and on into the weekend. For folks that are interested in DraftKings drafts or best ball drafts, if you hit that like button, it is very, very helpful. DK drafters are like my friends in home redraft league. Yep, love their quarterbacks, love their the certain running backs is another one. Kamara, Chuba, this little range. Now, once you get the Q tag, all bets are off, right? But they generally do love the Ken Walker, Joe Mixon, James Conner, right? James Conner goes ahead, Henderson and Harvey go later, right? These guys, Aaron Jones goes earlier. Of course, that's PPR too, but still, Pacheco, a lot of these guys go earlier on DraftKings. Wow. I have 1% Kyren Williams, and I really don't love it, but I think we're gonna take some Kyren Williams medicine here. Get a little 4th round Kyren. Puka, Bowers, JSN, Kyren. That is another thing that I am doing a lot. I have 1% Kyren, as you saw on your screen. I have not drafted Kyren Williams with any of these first 3 players, Puka, Brock Bowers, or JSN. However, I am willing to take a little bit of these earlier running backs, take more of the earlier running backs on DraftKings than I would on another site. As you guys know, I'm dipping my toes more in. Look, I'm growing. I'm getting older. I'm closing in on 40 in a few years, so I'm feeling more mature, right? Rather than trying to be the young, hip, cool 0 RB bro, which I still am, by the way. But I'm still being very cautious about my running backs, in large part because a lot of the later picks I like are running backs, right? The whole back to front drafting. If I love Will Shipley and Tyler Algier and the Cowboys and the Jaguars and whatever, right? There's a bunch of these running backs and Trey Benson and and Isaac Arendo and et cetera, et cetera. There's a bunch of later running backs, mid to late running backs that I really, really do like. Of course, Travion Henderson, RJ Harvey, right? These guys. I like a lot of these guys. While I'm cognizant of that and loading up on the superstar wide receivers, tight ends, quarterbacks early, I believe in that as like the best strategy for this year. Wide receiver firepower, superstar tight ends, superstar quarterbacks. In that order, probably. Yeah, in that order. DraftKings is forgiving. DraftKings is more forgiving for your what we call detours, meaning not taking a wider, staying on path is taking wide receiver, because you really can't go wrong taking wide receivers early. Every time you move away from that is a detour, right? You got to stop at the gas station, pick up, the car's running low on gas, got to go get that running back. You need some snacks. You got to pee, right? Pull over and pee. Come on down, Jalen Hurts. I don't know why that's I don't know. I've been to Philly a bunch of times. Maybe that's why that sorry to the Philly folks. I love Philadelphia, but not the world's cleanest city, for being frank. I totally just got myself. I do this way too much and get myself off track. But the early rounds are very forgiving with running back detours. I prefer to take them. As Shibi said, you're kind of forced into these running backs if you don't go 100%, because you just can't take like 8 straight. I mean, you can take 8 straight wide receivers. I don't prefer it. But so because of that, right, take a sprinkle of Kyron. I like Breece a lot. Take Breece Hall. I'm going to take a bunch of Hampton. I'll take a little bit of James Cook, right? I'm going to take some. I don't love Chase Brown at all. I'll take a little Chase Brown. I'll take a little Josh Jacobs. I'll take a little bit of those guys because I can make up for it at wide receiver. I can make up for it at tight end later in drafts. The rooms are softer. Guys fall. ADP is just more wrong on some of those other guys. So you can divert away from your love for the elite quarterbacks, tight ends, and wide receivers to some of these running backs, even if you draft a little bit more like me and Josh Jacobs makes you sick to your stomach and Kyron Williams makes you sick to your stomach. Like especially when they fall, they're kind of given to you in that room. I think they make for awesome picks. Pick 57. I'm saying that, and they're trying to give me Alvin Kamara, but that's it. No, we're drawing the line somewhere. Look, how about a Travis Hunter draft? Should we do a Travis Hunter draft? Let's do a Travis Hunter draft. I'm intrigued. I wasn't drafting Travis Hunter at all at the old price, but now we're closing in on pick 60 Travis Hunter. And I think I'm ready to start dipping my toes in those waters. I sat and watched everybody jump in the pool, cannonballs and muck, and I sat there and I waited. And I think now I'm gonna crawl. I'm gonna walk up there, right? The pavement is fucking hot, and I gotta dip my toes in to cool off a little bit. I think that's where I'm at on Travis Hunter. Are you out on Ridley? Mostly. I'll take a little bit of Ridley probably, but I'm not a big fan of Calvin Ridley. No. Martin says, wait, I haven't drafted in a while. Neighbors Genty as possible now. Yes, it is at the 1-2 turn. Not Genty's there every time, pretty much every time. Neighbors is just not always there. But sometimes, as you see in this room. Okay, I might take Alvin Kamara if he falls back here. 100%. Sizzle says Travis Hunter's my biggest question. I think everyone is being distant. If anyone says Travis Hunter's not your biggest question mark, I think you're being disingenuous or you're lying to yourself or both. Like I don't really see a way in which anyone can say Travis Hunter's not their biggest question. You can have a take and say, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to play him a lot on offense or they're going to play him a lot on defense, and that's fine. Jesus Christ, see, we're breaking a lot of seals. We're popping a lot of cherries here. Kamara, Kyron Williams, Travis Hunter. This is a new one, but taking the fall on these guys. This is when Nolan, this is when it's a friends and family draft when Kamara is available after 55 because the DK drafters love their Alvin Kamara. I'm not sure if you're aware, but he's better in full PPR. So the DK drafters really like him a lot better than other sites. Hunter's getting cheaper still, I think. Like to see the bottom fall out. One thing that I've learned particularly from Moxie in the Discord, who is an avid investor, trader. I don't know what he would want me to call him. But like you don't have to wait fully for the bottom. You can buy your way down a little bit and not pretend like you know exactly where the bottom is. Like, okay, the bottom's pick 70 and I took him at 57 here. Like I'll be all right. You know what I mean? I agree with you. I mean, I have 1%. He's been falling and I have 1%, so I've drafted him once. Like I'm not super into Travis Hunter even at this price, but I'm willing to be open to starting to buy. Now he's getting into a range of more guys that I don't love so much, whereas he used to be going next to like some of my favorite clicks on the board. Philly has a good music scene, but I don't love the city. I've always had fun. I've always had fun in Philly. They've had two baseball. So let me think about this. A few years ago, maybe 3 years ago, the DraftKings baseball live final was there. I think that was maybe the second time I went there, or the football. Anyway, the baseball live final was there for DraftKings once, and then last year or 2 years ago, last year the FanDuel baseball live final was in wine country, which was really fun. I'd never go by myself. Like we would never. Just the trek from the airport to wine country is fucking miserable. Holy shit. That sucked so bad after flying from St. Louis to San Francisco and then sitting in a car forever to get to wine country. But the year before was in Philly. And so I've had a lot of fun in Philadelphia. Got to tour the link, got to go on the field, go into a bunch of baseball games. Philly has been fun, but the city is, very historic. It's cool. It's very cool to walk around and see a lot of the sights in Philly, but it was not, oh, wow, this is a little bit too much Judkins on these teams. 100 Pollard is on 100%. It's got to be, yeah. So Pollard was on my other Kyron team, but I think I'm okay with that. Let's see. Actually, Golden or Downs? Let's do Downs. Correlates with the Travis Hunter, week 17. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Triath. I want to make sure I'm weird in being a stickler for it. So remind me how I'm saying Triath or Shriath. Correct me in the chat so I don't screw it up. So I don't sound like an idiot. I'm not trying to disrespect the good folks who are hanging out with me here drafting best ball teams at the end of fucking June on a Friday morning. Shout out to you guys. Do you have any running backs you're light on? Oh, this is a great question. Running backs you're light on Underdog, but into on DraftKings because of the scoring format. The number one that jumps out to me is probably not the one that people are thinking about. But as I've noted, I do a bunch of zero running back or like zero running back adjacent, right? Hero running back. We discovered what we called the Hawkeye build on Wednesday, which is a weak hero running back. It's not quite zero running back, but it ain't Captain Marvel either. It ain't one of the strong superheroes. Captain America, Captain Marvel, right? Thor. It ain't Thor. It's one of your weaker heroes. I am back on the clock super quick. Should I stack up the Seahawks in this draft? That feels so disgusting. Well, let's go get Ibuka. I just can't do Cooper Kupp, guys. JSN is the line on Seahawks. But we discovered I draft a lot of that, right? Like Hawkeye builds, zero running back builds, hero running back builds. I'm not a big like robust running back drafter. Right or wrong is not the point. That's just how I prefer to draft. So the running back who jumps out here when you ask this question actually is Justice Hill. As weird as that sounds, the price is, I think he goes around pick 180 on DraftKings, which is kind of hilarious. But he's like useful on PPR sites. If Derrick Henry goes down, I think his role is definitely going to grow, but he's not like Algier, or Garendo or Will Shipley or Jarquez Hunter or something like that, where he's going to take the full thing. I think Keaton comes in. It's possible Rasheen Ali or someone like that plays. He'll tag team the backfield with Keaton Mitchell if something happens to Derrick Henry. So the contingent value is fine, but it's not It's not exactly what we want. He's not like a stone cold league winner. If something happens to Derrick Henry, though, you would be happy to have him on your team, but specifically on PPR sites because he is the passing down back, right? Like there's games where Derrick Henry plays like 45% of snaps because the game just goes amok. Today is the amok day for me. The Ravens, it gets away from them. They start throwing a little bit more. He's the passing down back. He's the third down back. He mixes in with Derrick Henry. He provides like truly useful PPR games. And so especially for like a zero or a Hawkeye running back builder, Justice Hill has a lot of power. I do draft a lot of Travion Henderson, but I draft a lot on both. He's just even better on DraftKings. I think he's a little cheaper. What if they give Hunter points for pick sixes? Yeah, I believe we looked it up and they do not. But it did on Underdog. It gave me caution because Hayden Winks, one of the Wizards of Underdog, tweeted out he doesn't think that they will give Hunter points for pick sixes. So I'm not going to say anything about the Underdogs. It's not in their scoring right now. It does not say that you get points for a pick six on defense on any of these sites. However, that gave me a little bit of caution that someone from Underdog said they don't think, meaning like, could that change? I don't know. So we'll see. Oh yeah. Same game parlay. Alex was with me in Philly. Was it, we needed Harper to hit a home run? I can't remember who it was to hit a home run. And we were out in the outfield and he fucking crushed one when we were out in left field. I think it was fun times in Philly for sure. Let's see. All right, back on the clock. Sorry, I have a lot of you guys messages to catch up to. Jaylen Warren is a good one, honestly, for being better on DraftKings. I don't have a lot of great stacking options here, huh? When you draft, okay, I'm good. Let's do Warren. And I got some quarterback ideas. We'll recap through 10 rounds here for the audio folks in a second. Let's see. Full PPR Kamara to the moon if he stays healthy. I'm done. I still don't really like Alvin Kamara. I think chasing last year, in which he was just like mediocre for 3/4 of the year. Like 5th round Alvin Kamara was not really a good pick last year after the first, like you didn't care if you had Alvin Kamara. Even on PPR sites. It was better last year because he was cheaper. Now at this new price is fine. Derek Carr's gone. Tyler Shuck, I'm not a fan of. So, I'm not really into it. But like I said, I will sprinkle a little bit because of some like what Shuby said earlier. There's going to be certain times where I think Alvin Kamara is a fine click, specifically on DraftKings. He's obviously another answer to the question that Shriath asked, and the problem is he's more expensive for sure. Contingent upside for Black Mighty says contingent upside for Hunter is massive if BTJ misses anytime. I think, wheels up, all dogs go bark. Is that what the saying is? All right, back on the clock. Little tight end run goes off there. Jesus Christ. You guys are giving me all the fucking guys I do not want on this team. I would normally probably do Trey Harris here, but should we stack the Saints? Do a little Kamara Shaheed action? I could also technically then backdoor into Cam Ward and stack that game. I don't have to take Shuck. I could take Cam Ward. I do that sometimes with Olave. He's my favorite Saint. I actually like Olave quite a bit. Shout out Matt Harmon. Vadim mentioned Matt Harmon before, and he just like tweeted the other day something about how sick and tired he is of watching Saints film and Chris Olave is wide open only to them not throw him the ball, or the ball more specifically just like sail over his head and not be accurate at all. Also part of why he's gotten so many concussions. But Harmon will tell you, and I trust Harmon's real life wide receiver talent evaluation, that Chris Olave is still good at football. So I think the Saints offense is talented, like reasonably. Like we treat them like dog shit because of Shuck and because of last year, and they're uninspiring. But Olave, Shaheed, Kamara, Juwan Johnson, and then whatever they get from the rest of the slappies on that offense. Offensive line is a concern. But if Shuck is just serviceable, I think that there's usefulness in this Saints offense. Massive Audio says, Erik, any idea on why Noel is dropping in ADP? I think people are just scared because he's the wide receiver 4, or projects to be the wide receiver 4. People probably came to the conclusion like, oh yeah, I do think Christian Kirk is going to start in the slot. And so, like, is he going to take Christian Kirk's job? Like, Christian Kirk is not, like, bad. He's not great, but he's not Van Jefferson. He can play a little bit. So I think that the market just has this, we're scared of uncertainty. I like Jalen Noel fine. I don't draft him that much, mostly because of how I structure my teams, and he's not that big of a priority where I'm going out of my way to go get him. But I think the market is just a little bit concerned, about how is he ever going to get on the field this year. John says, I'll love Kensington. So this is my problem. When you stay downtown, it doesn't smell good. Look, and I'm from St. Louis, and I'm not saying every part of St. Louis always smells good, but it ain't like that. I've been to bad cities. I've lived in bad cities. It ain't like that. It's rough. It's rough in downtown Philly sometimes. All right. Oh, this is perfect. Ooh. All right. I want Lawrence. So if you guys would, Shuby or whoever is behind me, I don't imagine you're going to let me get him, but I want to try to take Tajay and then take Lawrence. If I got a backstack Love or Stroud with Noel, I would be okay with that. So just don't take all these quarterbacks, guys, please. They sat at the top and talked about how we got to be cognizant of our quarterback drafting, and then I'm literally doing the opposite. Do as I say, not as I do, I believe. Yeah, Green Lantern. Cloudy mentioned Green Lantern for the weak hero, aka the Hawkeye. We landed on Hawkeye. The decision is final. We're not going back and relitigating it. God damn it, Shuby. I think that's you, right? Shuby. Shubot takes the Jags, guys. I see you had Tyler Warren. Love it, Chris. Love Tajay. So if this is going to turn into a really disgusting team, I think. Okay. Alex faded. First year in a while I've really enjoyed baseball. Go Cubs. Unbelievable. Yeah, we're gonna take a little CJ Stroud unstacked action here and figure it out. Christian Kirk is still available, so I may be stacking. Boy, this team is going to be very different from teams I usually build. Shout out to you guys for taking all the guys that I like. Yes, troll the Cubs fans. Troll the Cubs fans, Alex. This is Cardinals territory. Okay? And we're down in the dumps. Yes, the Cubs are awesome. We get it. Kyle Tucker is on my fantasy team, my one season long fantasy team. I do not have a Cardinal on there. I do have Kyle Tucker. Well, I'm hoping he's not a Cub forever. Yeah, Rashad and Eckler are good ones as a PPR type running backs that would be better on DraftKings. All dogs go. The Mad Blitz. Got it. Rarely won. That's funny. Generals loves Juwan as a late tight end. You fucking Chewy. Yeah, Green Lantern's too powerful. Hawkeye doesn't have a power. He has a fucking bow and arrow. He's useless. He's not even a superhero. We're hoping. What is Mint Berry Crunch? I don't even know what that is. And I've watched every Avengers and every DC movie, at least. He's unreal. Pete Crow Armstrong. Unbelievable. To get Kyle Tucker and then have the PCA breakout is wild. Absolutely wild. Let's recap the team super quick because we are through 12 rounds. South Park. Oh, South Park. I know what you're talking about now. I spaced out. My apologies. I was thinking like Avengers and I'm a South Park fan. I'm not like a junkie, but I do know who you're talking about now. Puka Nacua, Brock Bowers, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Got a little fall on Kyron Williams, so I dabbled in those streets. Got another fall on Travis Hunter and Alvin Kamara. Then we took Josh Downs, Emeka Buka, stay on track at wide receiver. Jalen Warren, dare I say, better in full point PPR on DraftKings. Rashid Shaheed, get a little Saints secondary correlation action. Tyjae Spears helps me set up potentially Cam Ward. Also plays the Saints in Week 17, which I very much like. Was hoping Trevor Lawrence would come back here. That was the plan. He did not. Now we're on to CJ Stroud, which, of course, Christian Kirk went immediately after I drafted. So that was a waste of time. I don't think you guys are going to take Cam Ward yet. Woof. I'm going to save some wide receiver spots. I'm going to pull up my guy Gesicki here, who is one of my favorite tight ends to draft. Another great one for DraftKings. Gesicki, pretty valuable PPR asset. He certainly can score touchdowns. So it's not that he's not a valuable underdog asset, but I think better in PPR is Mike Gesicki. Yeah, for sure. Batman just doesn't count in the list of he doesn't use a bow and arrow. Yeah. If we've seen anything from the world today that we live in, being a billionaire is a superpower. Hawkeye is not a billionaire. Bruce Wayne is. So he can afford a lot of things that are more powerful than a bow and arrow. Man, Penix falls all the way. Do I take God damn it. See, I have a lot, as you can see. I have a lot of this. I also could do Stafford, who I don't do very often. Let's do. Oh no, Week 8. No, okay. Week 8 is a problem. I think I'm scarred from Week 8. Oh shit. If you joined yesterday's show where we did a lot of NFC West stuff, shout out to the wheel. Week 8 has forever scarred me, and I've gone down the Week 8 trouble path here again. We decided to do a little Matthew Stafford, got Puka and Kyron. I think it makes a little more sense, even though I truly despise Matthew Stafford, a quarterback who I will say is better on DraftKings.com. I may never draft unless I'm in a total pinch. Matthew Stafford on underdog, and definitely not on drafters unless I'm in a pinch. But on DraftKings with the 300-yard bonus, I think he has outs to games that actually help us on DraftKings. Those extra 3 points are just very big. Yeah, I don't think I can log in to Week 8 as going to be a vacation. The wife and I are planning out a vacation for at some point during the season, and I think I'm going to have to vote for Week 8. Sizzle did his own version of the divisional draft, which is what we did yesterday. I could only draft players from the NFC West, which it turned out okay. It's probably not the perfect division, but Sizzle did the AFC South, which I think we determined was a good one. I can't remember. Yeah, got to remember the bonuses. 100-yard bonuses for rushing and receiving, 300-yard bonuses for passing on DraftKings, and they do make a difference. Not a significant difference, but a difference. It helps. It really helps a Stafford. Really the pocket passers are not out of my player pool. They're like mostly out of my player pool on underdog. Like, to a certain extent, right? You need to be, if you're a pocket passer, like you need to be like Michael Penix, where like he's young, he could technically run a little bit, and he could just be awesome. The veteran, aging or already aged pocket passers on underdog, there just isn't much upside. Even when they have good games, they don't make a difference really. on underdog. You add in the extra 3 points from the 300-yard bonus. You add in the fact that you're stacking them. So you're getting ready. If I'm getting 300 yards, I'm probably getting 100 yards from another guy. There's another 3-point bonus. I'm probably getting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 catches, right, from Puka Nacua. That's adding up. So it kind of compounds on DraftKings. Wow, Ward falls all the way back. With not an unreasonable team to take 3 quarterbacks, by the way, which I really do not like, but I think I'm going to do here. It helps when I took Kyron. Griffey this time. Hawkeye may be the bravest of them all. At least Iron Man and Batman have billions. That's true. Maybe that's a great point and a great comp, because our Hawkeye build is brave. You're middling, you're not really taking a true hero running back, and you're not really getting all the powers of zero running back. So we're being brave. We're venturing out into uncharted territories. The strategy is so, underutilized. The strategy is so overlooked. We haven't even come up with a name for it. We come up with a name for fucking everything. All right, do I do Chig or do I do? I'm quite certain that Shipley is long gone. Oh, I need Noel. Thank God I remember that. Sitting here talking about superheroes too much. Got lucky with Jalen Noel. So we took CJ Stroud, Mike Gesicki, Matthew Stafford, Cam Ward, and Jalen Noel. I'll be looking for one more tight end and largely some running backs. Probably turn this into 3 with Kyron and Kamara. I'm pretty comfortable with 6. We'll see how it turns out, because I would like to get a wide receiver with Ward, whether that's Io Manor here or Chimere DK. That would be my goal with this team, just thinking it through. Stafford good. Stroud is at least stacked with Noel. Get a oh no, I took Gesicki, so I don't want. Oh, thank God. Jesus. See? Do as I say, not as I do. Don't draft and talk about superheroes. All right, we're good. Absolutely not. 3-7-7-3 built. I took Brock Bowers. I'm not taking no 3 fucking tight ends on a Brock Bowers team. I barely took a third quarterback, and I had CJ Stroud and Matthew Stafford. I'm not spending 6 onesies. I need flex juice. Too many buys. Week 8, we're screwed. Notably, an individual week during the regular season is all we care about. It should override our decisions of putting together teams. Week 17 is no longer all that matters. Not week 8 is all that matters. In this household, if the last 2 days are any indication, week 8 is all that fucking matters in the Beimfohr household, because my God, I keep drafting guys on week 8 buys, and it's painful. Coming up in the 17th, and we'll pop in one more. DK Millie here after this. So as we get to the 19th or 20th, I'll hop on in. Skate Perez, great name, by the way. I love the putting a number or something silly in place of spelling out a word. I don't know. I think that's our generation. You're probably somewhere around my age is my guess. Now I'm making you feel old also. Chig does come back. We're not doing that. Look at that. Both the Tennessee boys at the top, notably 0 Tyler Lockett. You can't make me. I'm not fucking doing it with Tyler Lockett. So we do Io Manor. This game came together nicely. And then we'll do, is that my 7th or 8th wide receiver? Yeah, so now I'm going to running back out. I'm going to get to 7 here. I think Puka JSN. It could be 6, though, because I have Hunter. See, this is the problem with taking Travis Hunter. It makes me feel uncomfortable with my wide receiver rooms. And I have Shaheed and Jalen Noel and Io Manor. So maybe it does need to be 6 running backs and 9 wide receivers. Fucking hell. Another reason not to take 3 tight ends on this team, because I think it's actually a great lesson in the whole roster construction part of it, is like you need to apply it to your specific team. And like when I look at this team, I'm like, if I were in this situation and we removed like the Travis Hunter part of it and the Shaheed part of it, and I just said, oh yeah, you have 3 quarterbacks, 4 running backs, 8 wide receivers, and 2 tight ends. And you took Puka, you took a couple early wide receivers, you would just say, oh yeah, let's get some running backs. But then I look at the wide receiver room and I'm like, oh, damn, Keaton goes. Let's look at wide receiver. Oh, let's do 2-2. Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect. 2-2, and then we'll draft a couple of running backs. 2-2 can really help me out with those early. Stafford throws a couple bombs to 2-2 Atwell, who notably Sean McVay says is going to play a lot, quote, a lot more this season. But get 2-2 on my Ram stack here, and he covers up the warts. He may not be an absolute superstar smash, but he can help me. He can help me out here. Just not in week 8, of course. Another week 8. But yeah, yeah, exactly. Another week 8. Bye. Chris says Lockett is legit the Tyler Boyd pick from last year, which was terrible. Yeah, 100%. But anyway, the question. Sorry. Do you lean heavier on Breece or James Cook? Very much Breece. To me, very, very much Breece Hall to me is my lean. I don't have a problem necessarily with James Cook. I do have a problem with the price a little bit, though he is falling, and I'm starting to get a little bit of James Cook now because of the fall, right? The contract stuff, and maybe people are realizing sometimes it's not always just like the negative news that comes out about the player. It can also be the negative news, and then it makes you realize like, maybe that was a little, round too rich for James Cook. Maybe he's not going to run so hot on touchdowns this season. And you just like open your eyes to some of the flaws when the negative, news starts to come out about a player. I don't know what it is with James Cook. I think he's a little bit too expensive. And Breece Hall is, in my opinion, a much better real life football player. We were drafting him in the first round last year. Sure. Braylon, Isaiah Davis, whatever. They're a problem. Apparently, Breece Hall likes to go to the club or whatever. Oh no. James Harden. The James Harden of football, I think, will be all right. But like James Cook has Ray Davis and Ty Johnson there. He has Josh Allen stealing goal line carries. I just think Breece is a little bit better receiver, even though James Cook was a really good receiver in college. It's been interesting. They don't use him a ton in the passing game. He actually comes out on third downs. Ty Johnson has been playing like long down and distance because he's a really good pass protector. Another thing, shout out to pass protection. Make sure you're caring about pass protection, not just receiving ability as a receiving back. It actually starts with pass protection. If you can't pass protect, they don't leave you out there for obvious passing situations because you'll get your quarterback killed. But yeah, Breece is just a better football player. Recently, literally last year, first round pick. They're definitely going to run the ball a lot for the Jets, and so maybe a little bit of the receiving comes down, but the rushing ticks up this year. I will not beg, but please do. I see how many of you are watching, and if you could hit the like button, it would be really, really much appreciated. All right, back on the clock. Running back time. Good God. Oh, this is a Woody Marks team for sure. Notably, another better pick on DraftKings. Woody Marks. More of a pass catching back. He was a workhorse at USC last year. So I don't think we should. He's a pass catching back because that is definitely much more of his skill set. But I do think if you think Woody Marks is JD McKissick, I don't believe that to be true. He went to Mississippi State and played in the old air raid. They legit did not run the ball. So he was like he was their running game as a receiver last year. Good Lord. I should have really queued up some guys. Okay, I'm going to put Isaiah Davis in the queue. Yeah, let's do it. I'm trying to smooth out some of these round 20 guys specifically on DraftKings. So we'll do a little Isaiah Davis there as we talk. Brees reminded me of that. But Woody Marks, I'm not super duper excited, but in the last round on DraftKings, 4th round pick, catching passes, Mixon and Chubb are his teammates. I don't know. I'm willing to take some shots. And of course, this is a CJ Stroud team in which he would make a lot more sense. Yeah, he's just like he's not a very physical runner. And he's not like that explosive, but he was like a good college player. And like I said, at USC, he commanded the whole backfield. And at Mississippi State, he kind of took over the whole backfield. And again, he played in when he was originally at Mississippi State, that was like the old Leach air raid days. So like you got to take it, it's like comparing, it's like Army and Navy. It's like, well, the guy who played for Army didn't catch any passes. Yeah, because Army throws the ball fucking 6 times a game. Like, no shit, the running back didn't catch any passes. It's like that's kind of what the Woody Marks from his Mississippi State days. And he's a good pass catcher, so that's helpful. Brees versus Diggs, week 17 on the party boat. I'm with you. Absolutely fucking not. Sizzle says Neal is going to be Kamara's backup. I'm still holding my Kendre. Kendre is the backup stock here. Sizzle gets the 101. If anybody else is in here, Shuby at the 104. I am at the 103 for draft number 2. Fuck buys, says Billy. I'm with you. I don't care. Like, it's really simple, right? Are you going to lose points in that week? Right? Is my last team that I drafted probably going to lose ground in week 8? Yeah, for sure. But you are, if the point is that you don't have enough firepower in that week, you can't ignore the other weeks in which you have more players than everybody. So in week 8, I lose. Let's just call it 50 points, right? I'm just making up a number. I lose 50 points on average to the other teams in here. You call it a fucking 100 for all I care. I don't know. 50 points. Okay, so there's 13 other weeks in which I now have basically my full lineup, and other teams are missing guys all of those weeks. So my team projects for a few points better every other week. Right? I pretty much make up most of that through that basic math equation. If I project for fewer because my guys are out that week, I should project for more because all my guys are available in all the other weeks. And so I'm now over 13 weeks. I'm right. Do I make it all back? I don't know, but I make back a bunch of it over the course of the whole season. So I just don't worry. I'm just not worrying about it. I'm worrying about putting together teams that make the most sense over the course of the whole season and for the fantasy playoffs, right? Pairing guys together, stacking teams, whatever, all that different stuff, making my portfolio work. Like all of that is, should we pull somebody up or should we take JJ? Somebody, I'll sit and wait. I'll happily, you know what? I said I'm going to be overweight Gibbs. Let's do a Gibbs team. I said I'm being open-minded this year, and I don't want to keep building the same fucking Hawkeye teams every single. Like, the Hawkeye show was fine. It wasn't that good. I don't want to keep revisiting it. Like, I'm not rewatching the Hawkeye show. Okay? That is absolutely not in the cards. There's way too many other things to watch. I don't plan on it. It's that is a risk I'm for sure willing to take. Not doing much, if any, Bijan. one thing Generals is recommending or asking for a robust team with 3 running backs and 12 wide receivers. You know what sucks about this idea on Underdog is they don't let you take more than 10. So like you can't physically draft like the kind of like crazy, robust, or like you have to do, it would have to be 2, 4, 10, 2 if you do robust. I've been doing mostly super flex draft. I'm going to max the puppy but super flex on Underdog. I'm trying to do a lot more on DraftKings and drafters this year, and just a little less of like I'm going to max BBM. I'm going to max the super flex contest, and I'm going to try to then get to the eliminator. So those are my priorities. So that's 450 teams. I'm going to try to get to those on Underdog with, a smattering of, like I did the very first Schnauzer. I did a little bit of the first puppy to get my feet wet. Apparently big into getting my feet. It's hot outside. So the heat is seeping into my brain and apparently my feet, that I need to get my feet wet today. Gross. Feet are gross. Feet are super, super gross. God damn it. I got to quit doing that. These stupid like one-off comment tangents that throw me off. Oh, I'm focusing a lot more on DraftKings and on drafters. And kind of part of it is, why are you limiting me to 10 wide receivers or 10 running backs in the super flex contest? Some of what I've been doing is in so they're 20 rounds in super flex, right? In the first 10 rounds, I take my quarterbacks, my tight ends, and my wide receivers, and then draft 10 running backs, because running backs are more powerful in those super flex contests. But also, like, what if I wanted 11? What if I wanted 12? Why are you limiting me to, because you're trying to make it easier on yourself for your quality checks or whatever, to check that people are cheating? Like, that doesn't make me feel good. You need to limit people to how many, right? It's a peer-to-peer game. If somebody wants to draft 13 wide receivers, let them draft fucking 13 wide receivers. Who cares? It really is. It really is. Yeah, it changed. Omega King this year. At some point, it changed to 10. It's annoying. It's a peer-to-peer game. We should not be policing, right? It should be up to the site provider to make sure people aren't cheating, colluding, or cheating. So long as they're not colluding or cheating, I don't give a flying fuck if how many you draft of any. That's up to you. Like, what if 12 wide receiver teams are like good? I'm not saying that they are, but I'm saying, like, I could absolutely come up with a 12 wide receiver team that like legit makes sense, right? Oh, fucking hell. So I don't have McBride with Gibbs. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, guys. Trey McBride, one of my priorities, and I don't have him with Jahmyr Gibbs. But I really don't want to do another one of these running backs here. I'll consider an elite quarterback, though. Yeah, they limit all the positions. I can't remember what they are, though. Philip asked, do they limit? There's a limit. 10 is running back and wide receiver. 10 is the limit. I don't remember what quarterback or tight end are. But I'm open to oh wow. 102 with a little Saquon Jacobs, and then he's got to take Bucky. The 102 has to take Bucky, right? Flip the board. Kai says, oh wow, Lamar goes. So do I take Allen and do the elite quarterback thing? Yeah. Do I flip? I could flip the board and go get one of these. I have done, as you can see, I have done briefs with McBride, a good clip. Oh, I actually have Allen with, who's that, Gibbs or McBride? Allen with Gibbs. I'm gonna do Garrett Wilson. Don't have a lot. Don't have Wilson with either Gibbs or McBride. So as much as I would love to flip the board, I want to cover that. I want to cover that piece of my portfolio. I don't have this start yet. Jahmyr Gibbs, Trey McBride, Garrett Wilson, and I would like to have it. So we're going to start that way here. Not the most comfortable start for me. Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, wide receiver 1, is not my favorite. But we'll see if we can't figure this sucker out here. He said you need to draft more early running backs because DK is very forgiving. We're about to put that to the test. That's funny. Yeah, next these sites are going to be forcing everybody to take 3 quarterbacks. Must take 3, can't take more than 3. Omega has a couple of those. Nice. We can hold hands. I'll chop the $2 million with you. We each get 1.5. Deal? If this is the nuts, we'll split that 3. First place is 2 million. Second place is 1 million. We'll chop that up. I'm cool. I'm game. But yeah, as you saw, I have 5% Garrett Wilson. I think I'm just gonna try to hover around at market with Garrett Wilson. Right, this will get me to like 6%. Drop him a couple more times, get me to 8% or so. He's just like whatever. I'm not like. I think he's a good football player. Totally fine with my exposure, but like early 3rd round Garrett Wilson, he's not much different than Terry, Tyreek, Marv, JSN, Devontae, Mike Evans, right? He's just like not that much different than all of these other guys. So I'm not going to go out of my way to go crazy for him. I do use that spot, as you saw, to move guys around, like to get these different combinations, whether it be a kind of a unique start, right? Flipping the board, as Martin brought up before, like pull up Mike Evans, pull up Breece Hall or something like that. Or I flipped the board beforehand, right? I pulled up Nico to the 103, and now I'm going to take McBride and T on a Nico team instead of, everybody else takes him with Chase or something like that. Only 32 teams, and 8 of them we're not sure who the starter will be. Running back? Because it's not quarterback. At running back? Yeah, we were talking about the Saints backup running backs. They did notably sign. So I was drafting some Kendre and some Devin Neal. And then they signed Cam Akers, and I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait out the Saints. I can wait a couple of weeks to donate more money on backup Saints running backs. I can find other places to flush money down the toilet. I've done the Saints backup thing for years, and even when you're right, you're wrong with the backup Saints. Who are the 8 starters? We're not sure who they'll be. List them. I'm trying to think. I mean, obviously, are we not sure who the Giants starter is going to be? It's just the Browns, right? Colts, Browns. Like Cam Ward's going to be the starter. Who am I missing? A little tumble from DJ Moore. Just a little tumble. We'll do DJ Moore here. Chasing some wide receiver points. Let's draft the guy Justin Fields made have his best year, and the guy Justin Fields is about to make have his best year. Martin says Indianapolis. I agree with. Seattle, I do not agree with. Sam Darnold is definitely the starter. The Giants is almost assuredly Russell Wilson. But we don't know who the starter will be all season. I guess you're saying like we don't know who the starter will be all season. But the week 1 starter for sure is Darnold and for sure is Russ. Cleveland, definitely. New Orleans. Technically, I guess. Technically, I would say. That's funny. Hutcher in the 102 starts Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow. Quite the start. Sizzle in the 101 with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Chase Brown, and does not get Joe Burrow. I told you I wasn't fucking lying about the DraftKings guys. I wasn't making it up. Let's do Hampton. So we start Jahmyr Gibbs, Trey McBride, Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, and Amarian Hampton. I like this. Gives me outs to a bunch of different quarterbacks. I'll be able to hit some wide receivers in those pockets that I don't often hit the wide receivers in those pockets because I far too often draft Hawkeye builds and zero running back builds where I'm taking running backs. This is one reason I like to do Gibbs, or I like to do take a falling Kyron, take a falling Kamara, take a falling someone at running back, detour a little bit because then I can get some of these wide receivers who I very much like. You let Shaheed before. I wouldn't say that I like, but he's fine. Shaheed is fine. And I'm going to go in with very, very little if I keep repeating the exact same structures and never taking detours to running back. The Wild West of DraftKings. Never trust a standard helmet icon on DraftKings. I'm a fan of this take. If they didn't upload an avatar, they are untrustworthy. I think that is the official decision. Love Gibbs with Hampton for sure. All season, who cares about week one? The one thing I'll say about the quarterbacks, that if you start week one, you're more likely to start the whole season. This idea, like, it's very, very possible that the Seahawks, I'm not sure the Seahawks are going to suck, by the way. I think their defense is going to be very good. I think they can be better than the Cardinals. Can they beat the Rams? Sure. Can they beat the 49ers? Sure. I'm not that confident in Seattle. I mean, I think we're all pretty confident. The Giants' schedule is rough. But, like, crazy shit happens. They can beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys are not insurmountable. You know, they'll probably beat the Saints. Like, shit happens. When you start, if you're the starter to start the season, you are more likely to finish the season assuming health. Now, the Giants are going to put that to the test. But I'm not that convinced about, like, Jalen Milroe. Like, they took Dart in the first round, so that is the feather in the cap of Jackson Dart and the thorn in the side of Russell Wilson. Jalen Milroe is a project. He's a long term, right? Is he starting at the end because they finally get out of the playoff hunt by like week 15 or 16? Yeah. I think that's possible, but I would not treat Jalen Milroe like Jackson Dart, essentially. Oh, I didn't. You have no Avi, but you don't have the helmet icon. No icon is acceptable. Yeah, as Max says, you're staying incognito, right? There's like a cloud of mystery around you. You're like a member of the online crew Anonymous, right? You're anonymous. The helmet is you are a slappy in a bad way. You're a DK slappy, not this new way that people have come up with this slappy term. You're a DraftKings slappy, which a DraftKings slappy takes unstacked Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson back to back. Yeah, 2 years ago, 60. I'm going to screw up the exact number. 2 years ago, 64 quarterbacks started games, or 66, one of the two. And last year, 59 quarterbacks started games. So I'm not saying that a lot of quarterbacks aren't going to start. It's just usually for injury. That's fine. I'm behind. Did you say you're out on Bijan? You don't care what division he plays in? No, I don't really care about the division. I'm not out on Bijan. I like him less than the other. It's one of those. It's the difficult thing. If I want to be overweight CeeDee Lamb, I want to be overweight Puka Nacua, Malik Neighbors, and Jahmyr Gibbs, and and Nico Collins and all of these other guys and Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. You got to pull from somewhere. And Bijan, Saquon, Genti are my favorite places to pull from. I don't even really have anything negative to say about Bijan. Woof. Okay, this spot sucks. Addison plays against. I could do the Addison thing. I could pull up. Let's pull up Diggs a little bit. Get this. Get the Diggs, Garrett Wilson, little week 17 going on there. Try that one out. It's very possible Wilson starts the whole season, or at least until the week 14 bye. Though it seems like they're going to take their time with Dart. Yeah, Dayball came out and said, like, what was the exact quote? Or close enough to the exact quote that, like, Jackson Dart is going to really benefit from sitting and watching Russ for a while. Like, he needs growth. He needs practice reps. He needs to learn from the veteran and learn from Dayball. And so I think if we're like, oh man, they're going to start 1-5 and Dart's starting, like, I don't think so. I would not bet on that. Okay. I mean, this is just really not fun, guys. Jerry Jeudy. Now I'm going to go get Pearsall because I'm just not doing Jerry Jeudy. You can't make me. It's not happening. I very much like Pearsall. Shout out to the San Francisco 49ers. Stacks. Generals doesn't think team. Yeah, Mahomes sat. It's so interesting. I don't know what the right answer is. I think you need to learn on the job, but also if you're not ready, you can end a kid's career before you start it. So I think my general right, like, if Washington sat Jaden Daniels behind Marcus Mariota, that would have been an absolute fucking disaster. But should the Bears have maybe sat Caleb Williams? Should Jackson Dart probably sit? Probably. Right? Was Mahomes always going to be Mahomes, or did the year behind Alex Smith help him? I'm unsure. I think it's a case-by-case basis, and I think teams need to treat it like that as such. And I probably haven't treated it as well as I should. But, like, I'm trying to think of an example. What did Drake May need to sit? I don't know. JJ McCarthy ended up kind of sitting, but it was only because of an injury. Every situation is very much different. Some of these guys come in and they're awesome right away. Jaden Daniels came in and was immediately one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL from day one. Sitting that guy would have been foolish. He's learning better on the job than by watching. But some guys definitely need to sit. And so I think teams need to be better about not rushing when the guy isn't ready. There's a new report that said Dart is a lot further along than Dayball expected, and he might start sooner than expected. Good shout there. I think Jackson Dart sucks. So that is part of the problem for me, is that I'm not a Jackson Dart fan, and it's hard for me to get. I can remove a lot of my personal takes from, like, I don't really like Matthew Golden, but I'll draft Matthew Golden. I didn't like Ricky Pearsall, and I'm going to draft a shit ton of Ricky Pearsall this year. I'm willing to separate sometimes on some of these guys, but then there's also certain mental blocks, like Jackson Dart. Like, he's not good. I think quarterback, I'm definitely more stubborn. Like, Bryce Young went first overall his rookie season, and I full faded Bryce Young his rookie season, and I feel like that was justified. I actually opened myself up a little. I didn't love CJ Stroud, which I guess jury's still out. After his rookie year, that felt stupid, but I did open myself up to drafting a little bit of CJ Stroud in his rookie season because I could see how I could be wrong. Like, I can't see it with Jackson Dart. I'm very open. I'm open to waving the white flag, holding the L, whatever phrase we want to use, if I end up being wrong about Jackson Dart, but that's part of my problem. Teabagging time. Interesting name. Would you rather a number 2 wide receiver on a top 10 offense or a number 1 on a bottom 10? I'm gonna cheat because this answer requires a lot of nuance. We'll do Fields. I have 2% Justin Fields. This is the perfect Justin Fields team, stacked with Garrett Wilson. Recovered a little bit at wide receiver, but have Gibbs, Hampton, and Trey McBride. I like it. Dart absolutely not on Russ's level, says Red CYC Sports. Is Dart still clapping, or did he figure out how to do a snap count yet? It's a great question. All those little subtleties that people don't understand coming from the college game are pretty crazy. Like, that's part of the Travis Hunter thing. I don't think people understand how simple Dion and co made things for Travis Hunter. They basically, like, they ran like 6 offensive plays. He never moved, really around on offense. And then on defense, they basically just said, go make plays, dude. So now you come into the NFL with these crazy complex play calls, these insane reads, right? You got to read and react and adjust. And, the play call is telling do this. If the offense does this, do that. Option routes, you got to be on the same page as your quarterback. You got to timing. You got to read the defense on the fly while going full speed. And like, they just didn't have to, a lot of these guys just got to go out there and wow, another Downs team. It's Josh Downs day, baby. Unless I do quarterback. Fuck. Purdy or Caleb? No, let's do. I do so much Purdy. I have 16%. Let's do a Fields Caleb Williams team. How about that? I wanted to get back to the question that I missed. Apologies. Would you rather a number 2 on a top 10 offense or a number 1 on a bottom 10? It depends. What is the number 1 on a bottom 10 can be used, right? We talked about this in the Spike Week Discord, which of course, if you're not a member, in the description, all that stuff, which you heard me talk about earlier. Like number 1, air quotes, number 1 requires a lot of context, right? Brandon Cooks once upon a time was the number 1 on a bottom 10 offense, and T Higgins was a number 2. I would rather have T Higgins than Brandon Cooks. Is JSN a number 1 on a bottom 10 offense? Okay, that's different. Is T-Mac, Tedero McMillan number 1 on a bottom 10 offense? Okay, that's different than DK Metcalf. What does the offense pass? There's just so much context to this that I don't think it's as simple as you can say. Who's the number 2? Speaking of Brandon Cooks was the number 2 on the Dallas Cowboys, which were probably, when Dak Prescott was healthy, a top 10 offense. He was fucking useless, right? Does the team have a tight end? Right? Is Michael Wilson? What if the Cardinals are a top 10 offense? Well, Michael Wilson still isn't the number 2. He's really the 4th option on the offense, right? It's like all of that. It's so situational that like T Higgins is a very different situation than Michael Wilson, right? And DK Metcalf versus, like, the Jets could be a bottom 10 offense, but Garrett Wilson could be a fantasy smash, and that's different than Calvin Ridley, and that's different than DK Metcalf, and that's different than Jacoby Myers. Is Jacoby Myers the wide receiver 1, or is Brock Bowers? Because he's a tight end. It's like, there's all of that subtlety. The Chiefs are a top 10 offense. Is Xavier Worthy better than T Higgins? Better than I don't know, but I think you need to treat every single situation differently, and lumping guys into wide receiver 1 versus wide receiver 2 is going to actually lead us down a bad path, because all wide receiver 2s are not created equal. All wide receiver 1s are not created equal. What does that even mean? Some teams like basically don't have a wide receiver 2. They have a guy, like, prior to the Pickens trade, the Cowboys had CeeDee Lamb and a bunch of dog shit. So who are we labeling the wide receiver 2? Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert, right? Well, sure, I would rather have Jerry Jeudy than those guys. But T Higgins, would I rather have Jerry Jeudy? No, not at all. Not even fucking close, right? So I want to treat every situation with the proper context and the proper nuance that it requires, and not try to like, I don't want to apply. What is it that Ben Gretsch says? And shout out to Big Country. He ingrains this in my brain that I don't want to over apply the macro to the micro. Right. And the macro might say, I think you just want the good offense. Right. But then in the micro, you're like, well, do you really want Jalen Tolbert over Calvin Ridley? No, of course not. And so I don't want to. I actually want to focus on the specifics in that conversation. So I know I'm cheating to that answer, but it require. I don't think that there. I don't think I can appropriately answer the question without kind of cheating. Yeah, Diggs, right? Would you rather have Steph Diggs or George Pickens? Olave or George Pickens, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, it depends. Like Shuby says, depends on how concentrated the offense is. Depends on how much they pass. It depends on, what does bottom 10 offense mean? It depends on a lot of stuff. It's an interesting question to go through this all that we're talking about here, but I wouldn't try to like make those kind of rules, right? Like make a rule. I don't draft the guys on the bad teams, or I draft, right? I'm going to draft all the wide receiver ones. It's like, you need to identify what the hell wide receiver one even means and then apply price and apply all that kind of stuff, right? Because wide receiver ones are not all created equal. I tried. Tyler Warren. Okay, so I don't need a quarterback. Oh, baby. Okay, Warren and Njoku are here. I would love to get one of them. Let me look at the board here really quickly, see if Hutcher has 2 tight ends. Sizzle doesn't have any. Let's push it. Let's get my guy Javonte on another team here. A little 2, 3, 4, 1 build. Justin Fields, Jahmyr Gibbs, Omarion Hampton, Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Stephon Diggs. Got that nice little Jets. Nothing like a Jets Patriots Week 17 stack to bring home all the money. Trey McBride, Ricky Pearsall, Caleb Williams to go with DJ Moore. Ricky Pearsall, of course, in that Week 17 game as well. And then Javonte Williams. Yeah, this is a good one. There's a lot of like, these are interesting questions to think about, but the answer is generally, I'm not really sure. Okay. Warren or Njoku? I'm going to do Njoku here because I have Njoku ahead of Warren, but I have been trying to get this Warren number up, but I've also been trying to get this fucking Njoku number up, and I can't quite get it. I guess I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't be stubborn to the top. I'm really trying to. This is the correct answer. I'm really trying to get that Tajay number up. The Tajay number is not right. And I like a lot of these later, good at quarterback. I like a lot of these later tight ends. So let's go ahead and go get the running back that I'm really into there. Yeah, I was being silly, of course, but we don't need to rehash the Cowboys backfield again. It's a funny one. Michael. You also need to correct me on your name so that I get it correct when I pronounce it moving forward. But says, I've done about 30 drafts and I see so many people that don't try to stack their receivers with QBs, and so many people auto draft, and it messes with the board so much. That is definitely something that happens too frequently and too much on DraftKings, especially. But that is actually a reason why we want to play on DraftKings. If our opponents are doing things that we think are bad, that's advantageous for us. It sucks when the bad things they do hurt our teams, for sure. But overall, right, over 150 teams, you've done 30. Let's say you do 100. Over 100 teams, that's going to benefit you. It's going to hurt some of them, but it's going to really help others. And all we're trying to do in best ball is get one awesome team. That's it. Right? Last year I drafted 1,500 teams. I don't know that I'll get to that number this year, but we'll see. It's going to be a big number, certainly north of 1,000. Let's see what I'm at right now. I don't even remember. So far, 353. I've done 353 teams. Yeah, 353. So across those and the 1,000 more that I'm going to draft, 1,300 teams or something, my entire season is going to be decided on one team. Whether I lose money, make your best team, the team that makes it to week 17, that hopefully you have one of those, that makes it to week 17, and then however it does in week 17, that decides your whole season. All the rest of the shit, you're throwing them all in the scrap heap, you forget about them, and you root on that one team, and that team finishes last in week 17. Well, shit. Maybe this year didn't go so good. That team does some damage in week 17. Even better. Now we're printing money. We're excited. We put a something in our Twitter bio, and we start a YouTube channel because we won a best ball tournament, right? That's all that really matters in this game. So it sucks in the moment when you're like, dang, I got sniped, right? Or this, so and so took this guy, or he screwed up my team. I was building this Chiefs stack, and he took Mahomes. It's like, it does stink, but stay locked in, still turn it into a good team. You can always still turn these teams into good teams. It may not be the best team that you wanted, but you can turn it into a good team. And then even if it's not that great, you're going to have other times where it does benefit you. And all you need is that one team to come through. It's all that matters. All this talk about, stuff at averages and medians and all that kind of shit, it goes out the window. We're not playing for that. We're playing for one team, right? Packerain, Liam, Herzig, all these guys who have won Best Ball Mania, they've done it. They've had their best ball success because of one team or two teams or three, one team a season. Oh, see? Ooh. I'm going to pass Loveland and get Burden because I really got to get this fucking Burden number up too. It depends. Last year was, I don't remember. Luckily, old handy dandy Draft IQ does have that. 20, 8, 12, 13. A lot more. It was a lot more, but it's because I'll probably put about what I did last year, and I'll probably do about the same. In the DraftKings 555, I did 20 in there. I'll do something similar this year, so that naturally, right? This number goes way up. It's not all like puppies and stuff like that. So that's the main problem. See, Loveland comes back. We played this right. Holy shit. Finally played one of these right. Took Jahmyr Gibbs third. Quick recap, because I'm excited now. Through 13 rounds, it just came together quite nicely with the old Luther Burden and Colston Loveland fall on a Bear stack. But Jahmyr Gibbs, Trey McBride, Garrett Wilson, and DJ Moore to start. So a little, not so much wide receiver firepower for me to start. Then did take Amari Hampton, who I very much like. Helped out the wide receiver room a little bit with Stephon Diggs and Ricky Pearsall. Got my two quarterbacks in the quarterback window, Justin Fields to go with Garrett Wilson, and of course Stephon Diggs on the Week 17 bringback. Caleb Williams to go with DJ Moore, and of course Ricky Pearsall on the Week 17 bringback. Javonte and Tyjae Spears to kind of start to round out the running back room. And then the two Bears rookies fell. Luther Burden and Colston Loveland. So we got a nice big old Bear stack here at a beautiful, beautiful prices. This team rocks. My team rocks. Shuby says his team is dog shit in here. See, like I said, you just got to have the other people in your DK rooms give you the good teams every once in a while. Feed off of the fact that they suck. Shuby, of course, does not suck. I'm just giving him grief. He took all the guys I wanted last draft, so it's only fair. We're breaking even here on a beautiful Friday morning. Can you explain these percentages for each pick displayed? If it's too boring, I'll look it up. Thanks. So you couldn't look it up anyway, but this is, of course, using the Spike Week Draft Hacker, which you can see here. Draft Hacker ready. And if you have Spike Week Premium, you can get the Draft Hacker, Draft IQ, all that kind of stuff. But you get to customize the percentages that you see for yourself. So obviously, I personally think the playoff schedule is like kind of a must, but you don't have to show the playoff schedule if you don't want to. So the Week 15 matchup, the Week 16 matchup, the Week 17 matchup. When something highlights in this orange color, for me, it means they're correlated with a non-quarterback. So Isaiah Likely, this means I have a New England Patriot non-quarterback here in orange, right? Jack Besh does not correlate with anybody on any of those teams, right? Same, you see, so Ertz with Dallas, right? I have Javonte on that team. But the percentages are it starts with, number one is my overall exposure, not just to this tournament, across all of my DraftKings drafts. And then it goes down my quarterback one, my exposure to that player with my quarterback one, my running back one, my wide receiver one, my tight end one, and then my first round pick, second round pick, third round pick. And then the very final number is when I took my round one and round two player together. What is my exposure? So, right, sometimes you'll see your exposure with your round one player and with your round two player, but you actually, and it may look high. Oh my God, I got 50% of Garrett Wilson with Trey McBride and 50% with Jahmyr Gibbs, but then it'll show 0 when you took Gibbs and McBride together. You don't have Garrett Wilson on that team. So those are just some of the things that I look at. There's like 100 options in the Spike Week Draft Hacker. If you go to spikeweek.com, you can see in the menu that there's a set, Draft Hacker settings. Everybody can go in there that has a Spike Week subscription that has premium access to the Draft Hacker and set those settings. And then once you've set it, it updates on here. You can customize them for Underdog, DraftKings, and Drafters separately. Right? You can pick your colors. You can pick all sorts of different stuff. A little too zoomed in here. I do. We're going to make this a 10 wide receiver team because I'm going to take, there's no way I can pass on Tyler Algier. I pick 166. Hot damn. Dude, this team rocks. Yeah, this is a good one. I can show that. I can show that here in a second, and I'll move my ugly face. Yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff, as Shibi says, like on this side here, I just currently have team stacks. So I can see, okay, here's the Jets I have. Here's the Bears I have. Here's the Lions I have. Here's the et cetera, et cetera. But I'll pull up a couple more of those other views so you can see the different stuff going on there. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to round out my running back room. It is $39.99 per month, $2.99 per year for a subscription. Then there's a link in the description. spikeweek.com/go-premium. I'm just going to go get my guy Will Shipley here. As you can see, I have 49%. Oh, baby, we're going to get to about 50% of Will Shipley here after this draft. Now it's wide receiver time, and I need a lot of wide receiver juice. I'm done at all the other positions. We're going to hammer 5 wide receivers the rest of the way. Justin Fields, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amari Hampton, Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Stephon Diggs, Trey McBride, Ricky Pearsall, Caleb Williams, Javonte Williams, Tyjae Spears, Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, and then Tyler Algier and Will Shipley. Those are my 2 favorite running backs. Well, Jarquez Hunter is up there, but those are my 2 favorite locked in handcuff running backs, and I wanted to get them on this team that I very much like. That's something I also like to do. And when I think a draft is going in a nice way, I want to make sure I get my core guys onto that team, of which, of course, Will Shipley and Tyler Algier are. If you see this over here, that I'm hovering over this show teams drop down, there's what is it? There's 8 options over here that you can do if you're interested in draft capital, right? If you like seeing the draft capital type stuff, remaining teams, this is remaining team stacks. If you want to see what Jets are left, right? What Bears are left, what Falcons are left. You can see all that kind of stuff over here. Same thing with week 17. If you want to see what is remaining in a potential week 17 matchup. And then I also very much like the playoff view. So you can see, all right, so I currently have 2 week 17 stacks going that we've already talked about, Chicago and San Fran. And I just click on show playoffs. It gives me the games that I have multiple of those, and then the ownership combos stuff. So it looks at the queue, right? It looks at the players that are left, and you can see the combinatorial ownership that you have on all of those players, right? So let's see here. Let's find a better one. Let's find one that so Josh Palmer. I can see I have 13% Josh Palmer, and I can see how much of him I have with all of the different players on my roster in this view without having to look in the queue. Sizzle says I keep forgetting about that part of the tool. It's easy. There's a lot of different stuff. There's a lot of different stuff in the tool for sure. You can take notes. Shuby's team sucks. Right? Save your notes. And now if you want to go back, right? Okay. Let's go to the teams. Let's go back to my notes. Oh yeah, I was telling myself to do something. I told myself, see, Shuby's team sucks. Remember that. Haha. Draft Will Shipley. I don't use the notes too much, but they do come in handy for slow drafts. So, you're in a slow draft. You have this idea. You take a guy, and you're like, what do I like? I come back days later, right? I come back in 3 days. I don't remember what I had for breakfast. Nonetheless, what I was thinking about in one of my 200 slow drafts, So if you take the note and you say, hey, set up Jags stack or whatever, right? You can take those notes and it'll save for you. I'm about to be back on the clock. I'm going to go back to the team view. I'm going to guess that you guys took Diami. Is that right? Let's see. Who took Diami? Of course. Who is that? Martin? Martin took Diami? I would really love Diami on this team. Of course. Appeals to me because that's the stuff I try to keep track of in my head. The playoff schedule's open in a second window. Yeah. That was the goal. A bunch of myself and Hacker and best ball sickos who were trying to do that as well. We were trying to keep track of playoff schedules and our exposures and all that different stuff. And we're like, why don't we just build something that puts it on the fucking screen? It's very helpful. And then Draft IQ can really, really help to analyze stuff after the fact or see what your opponents are doing or, see where the gaps are in your portfolio. What have you seen from? Hold on, let's make a pick. Let's see here. Definitely got to go get my guy Jalen Royals here. And then we got 3 more wide receivers to take. Yeah, I definitely miss the days when we used to get Diami for free. But what have you seen from Will Shipley that makes you think he'll be good? Same for Trey Benson. Are you not just wish casting those picks? I mean, well, they're late running backs. So this is tough. This is a tough question to answer. Are you not wish casting? Like, isn't that what every late running back is? I'm not sure exactly how to answer this. All late picks are probably not superstars. Late running backs don't need to be superstars to get. I mean, Trey Benson was like a decent prospect. Will Shipley was a decent prospect. 3rd and 4th round picks in the NFL draft, and they have contingent value. So I don't know if they're good. My take is not Trey Benson and Will Shipley are awesome. My take is that Trey Benson is the backup to James Conner, who his team took in the 3rd round and was playing pretty well down the stretch before he got hurt, getting the ball more. James Conner is old and fragile. And Saquon Barkley just had like 500 touches in a season, and the team let Kenny Gainwell go, who they very much trusted. Sirianni was wearing Kenny Gainwell shirts to training camp. He loved Kenny Gainwell so much, and they let him walk because they had Will Shipley. Will Shipley is a good pass catcher. Will Shipley is a solid pass protector. Those were probably his best skills in college at Clemson. And if Saquon goes down, like, I don't think it matters if Will Shipley is good. Remember Miles Sanders? No one thinks Miles Sanders is good, correct? If they did, he would be going way higher, like 7 rounds higher in drafts. And when Miles Sanders was on the Eagles, he had a monster final season, so much so that it got him paid by the Carolina Panthers for some unbelievable reason. Contingent value running backs are like incredible. My point is, even if they give an opportunity, I don't really want to turn it into he wasn't particularly good in college. Neither was Benson. I mean, Trey Benson was like one of the most efficient running backs in college for like quite a long while. So I wasn't like a huge Will Shipley college fan either, but like, you don't have to be good to be in fantasy relevant running back on the Philadelphia Eagles. It's like, since when? I was just proving that Miles Sanders stinks and was awesome for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not drafting him in the 3rd round. I'm drafting him in the 17th round. Opportunity is what matters. Who, right? If we're wish casting Will Shipley, who isn't a wish cast at pick 190? So like, is Kareem Hunt good? He just went and pick 175. Braylon Allen graded out as a very terrible runner last year, pick 174. Rico Dowdle has one decent season on the Cowboys, and he's 27. Roshan, that seems like a wish cast, right? Nick Chubb, dust. I don't know who is in a wish cast when you get into the late rounds. If these guys were locked, if we knew that these guys were awesome, they wouldn't go where they go. Did film off a pass Will Shipley in college? I would not say pass. No. Shipley was definitely banged up, and Phil Maffa played, just like Jordan James played next to Bucky Irving. And I'm not like some big, I wasn't a big Will Shipley prospect guy. Drafted him probably 0 total times last year. Did draft Kenny Gainwell last year. Well, Hunt goes there. Shipley did notably have the long run in the playoffs. Yeah, I also don't think that Trey Benson. I think you should go look at what Trey Benson did after the first couple weeks when he came back. He was solid. Ooh, I don't. Round 18. Oh my God, this is just disgusting. I guess I am going to do Io Manor again, and maybe Tutu again. No. I know what we're going to do here. Yeah, you take Jordan James. You want to talk about a wish cast, right? Keaton Mitchell, Taj Brooks, wish cast. Like, those are all wish casting. It's no different. How can you say Taj Brooks is good, but Will Shipley isn't? How can you say Jordan James is good, but Trey Benson isn't? Like, we can't. I'm not saying I draft those guys too, but the logic is the same. You're betting on some form of chaos and hoping that they're good, but you don't know that they're good. Hey, the 2 Browns tight ends might be the only 2 good players on their offense. I just this morning in a slow I had Njoku and took Fannin. I actually like it. Andrew Armstrong, there's a good one. I thought he was solid last year. All right. I think I mentioned this. Let's do one of my favorite things to do. and notably, I love this even more because Jalen Royals is involved. But it was also really so. Yes, so did I. I don't get it. Trey Benson is the best pick on the board. Stop taking Connor anyone, notably Dorito, the James Conner apologist here. I don't know how Trey Benson got lumped in to this conversation. I'm not a Trey Benson is fine. He's not like Will Shipley is my guy. I don't know how Trey Benson even got lumped into here, and he goes in a different part of the draft. It's a very different bet. I don't really know how Trey Benson got lumped into here. I mean, I like him fine, but yeah, before the injury, you're assuming that he's fine now. Also, you're wish casting a role that Keaton has never been able to. Keaton is not going to take on a major role. If Derrick Henry goes down, he's not an every down player. He's like a lightning rod. He's not a very good pass catcher, and he's not a pass protector. He's never going to take the pass catching role from Justice Hill. Justice Hill would have, for Keaton to be a smash, and if Derrick Henry and Justice Hill both got hurt, Rasheen Ali may take the passing down work because he was a better passing down player than Keaton in college. Keaton is like a home run hitter, and I like him. But you're wish casting a bigger role. You may know that he's good. I think you're overvaluing your player assessment, right? And then you're also saying I took Taj Brooks, who I like Taj Brooks, but we can't say we know for sure if Taj Brooks is good. At the NFL level, he was a 6th round pick. And is Taj Brooks ever going to take the full thing? If Chase Brown goes down, Samaje Perine is still there. Zach Moss is still there. I'm just a little confused that you just don't like Will Shipley, but like other guys, it's confusing. Yeah, I'm struggling with the logic. You got me thrown off. So it's good work. Got me all thrown off. I don't really get the logic. The logic ain't logicking. Can't draft Will Shipley because he's a wish cast, but Jordan James, 5th round pick, running back 3 on the San Francisco 49ers, behind Christian McCaffrey and behind Isaac Guerrero, is a smash. Just trying to catch up on the chat. If you could only do one, which would you prioritize? Roster construction, team stack, or playoff correlation? Not playoff correlation. That's last. It's a good question. Roster construction is just a little too loose of a term for me because me, the best ball world loves to say things like roster construction. What does that mean? Right. This doesn't mean it's not a wish cast. P. Ryan looked like a dinosaur. Guess what? P. Ryan looked like a dinosaur who's going to play on passing downs. Running back talent is just like not that big of a thing, right? Like otherwise Chase Brown would. Like Chase Brown is fine. He's not anything special. But anyway, you're saying someone else's wish casting and then you're wish casting. That's my pushback. I have no problem with any of these particular players you're bringing up. I draft Taj Brooks. I draft Jordan James. I draft them because of the same reasons that you do, which is why I'm telling you that it's no different than drafting Will Shipley. Saquon was one. CMC is an injury waiting to happen. The work will be split if he goes down. Okay, so that's not good, right? And Saquon also has historically been an injury waiting to happen, right? So I'm just pointing out the potential flaws in the thesis of the play here. Saquon has long been known as a guy who gets injured all the time. One season with the Eagles now, and we've forgotten about that. Like Christian McCaffrey has stayed healthy just as much, if not more, than Saquon Barkley over the course of his career. And he didn't have 450 touches last year. One more wide receiver. I mentioned I took Vele in that last spot with Jalen Royals. I love the little like super duper late Broncos stuff. I don't know if Troy Franklin went because I've been sitting here talking about Will Shipley for too long. But now I'm going to take Troy Franklin, and I like doing this. I think both Vele and Troy Franklin can hit for sure. And worst case scenario, I find it hard to imagine that one of them isn't at least useful. Vele has been the star, apparently, before he got a little dinged up, of OTAs with the Broncos, which is wild. But Troy Franklin has also popped a little bit for the coaches there. And I love like rounding out with those guys, especially in 20 rounds on DraftKings. Billy, we can do some saucing different time because I got to get to the gym here this afternoon, but I'm just going to recap my team super quickly for the audio listeners. That's funny. Jahmyr Gibbs definitely did some wish casting on this team. Jahmyr Gibbs, Trey McBride, Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Amari and Hampton, Stephon Diggs, Ricky Pearsall. We talked about how those little week 17 correlations and stacks there came together quite well. Justin Fields, Caleb Williams, Javonte Williams. Not going to talk about that anymore. Tyjae Spears. I've really got to keep. I think he is just a stone cold smash, especially another PPR site guy, another guy better on DraftKings. Tyjae Spears, good all around. Got really lucky and got the Burden and Loveland drops here to come back to me on this Caleb/Bears team. Rounded out with Algier and Shipley, my two favorite running backs, despite me wish casting them. Darius Slayton, Jalen Royals, Alec Iomanor, Devon Vele, and Troy Franklin, because I clearly needed a bunch of wide receivers to close out this team. There's just not even comparable. It's not pointless. I don't understand. I really don't understand that conversation. But be back tomorrow it'll be, of course, a pre-recorded video. If you could please hit like on the way out. I'm wish casting you to hit the like button on the way out, and Legendary Sickos will be coming out tomorrow, Saturday morning. If you have not, this week's episode is a mailbag episode. Go into the Spike Week Discord, go into the live streams and media channel. If you have a question that you would like answered on today's mailbag episode with myself and Karain, drop it in that channel. We will get to as many of them as we can. My buddy Rob will be back Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern for another draft for you guys. I believe he's hopping over onto Drafters on Sunday. And I will see you guys Monday evening for another episode of the Best Ball Basement. Have a wonderful weekend. And I will sort of talk to you guys tomorrow via the podcast. Peace.
Woo! Those were some spicy takes. Want to stay up to date with all of the other spicy takes we're going to have over here at Spike Week? Why don't you press that subscribe button below? You turn notifications on, we draft a team, boom, you know about it. We have another spicy take, boom, you know about it. You can be there. You can draft with us. You want to stay up to date? That's how you do it. All right, we'll catch you later next time here at Spike Week.